And what's up, everybody? This is Terminator Juice, and welcome to the Juice is Loose number 32, I believe. I forgot to write it down. 32 or 33. We're going to be discussing various topics, including the Direct, the new 3DS, and then the main topic is going to be kind of dissecting the Game of the Year winners versus what the review scores were for those games. Got a lot of information written down, and we'll discuss that. So before we get into that, I want my guests to introduce themselves, and we have a couple first-timers on the Juice is Loose, so I want to welcome them and take it away.
What's up, guys? Jamie Butterworth here, aka Butterworthy. I am definitely prepared to be on my first Loose Juice podcast, and I have my apple cider ready to go and some Hyrule Warriors. So that's what you'll see me doing.
Hello, everybody. This is Andre. Unfortunately, you can't see my pretty face because my camera's busted, but I'm here to enjoy the conversation with these fellas and give my input on what's going on in gaming, as always. I'm currently playing the Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate demo on my 3DS that will soon be replaced.
Nice.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's ASAP Rel, back again with my boy Juice and Derek. Missing a couple other usuals, but let's get it going.
Nice to have you back.
It is really good to have Rel back. And, speaking of people that are coming back, hey, everybody, it's me, Derek Stillfox. Good to be talking to y'all again. Nice to meet a few new people as well.
All right. Good to have you guys back, and good to have Andre and Jamie on the Juice is Loose. So let's get it started. Before get into the topic, so Mario Kart 8 tournament Thursdays, I switched it, and we only had 6 or 7 people race last week, but still raced, still was fun. So don't forget, if you guys are tired of playing all the games you've been playing, pick up some Mario Kart 8 again, put it back in your Wii U, and join the tournament at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays. So, all right, let's start with the first topic, and this is going to be kind of a quick little recap / grade for each of us for the Nintendo Direct that aired on the 14th of January 2015. Some of us have already given our impressions and all that, but a couple of us haven't, so I'm going to start it off. I'm going to give my grade, give a quick explanation why, and then my highlight of the whole Direct. So I thought it was a B+. I thought it was a pretty good Direct. A lot of release dates really helped, make it feel superior than some previous Directs where they never gave release dates for hardly anything. So that was a plus. A lot of games, the new 3DS finally revealed, and the games don't interest me exactly like most of them didn't, except for a couple, but still I thought it was a nice Direct and lots of information for Nintendo fans to salivate over. So my highlight with a lot of people, I think, was Splatoon, seeing all the customization, the main hub, and just seeing the game again. I think it just looks great, looks better every time we see it, and I love the customization stuff because I love that stuff. So I'm super excited, even more than I was before. So Splatoon definitely the highlight for me. So next we'll go to Jamie Butterworth.
I'll definitely agree on Splatoon. I mean, I gave it a B+ myself. I was excited for Splatoon before, but seeing all the customization options, and you just know they're going to work in Amiibo. And I'm big on Amiibo. So if I'm able to scan my figures in and get little odds and ends for customization, that's going to be an extra plus for me. But Xenoblade Chronicles looked amazing. I'm really excited for the new Fire Emblem. That came out of nowhere, and I didn't really get into the series big time until Awakening, and now I'm just hooked, and I need more. So it's just going to be a nice little injection sometime this year. But yeah, I'm not going to steal anyone else's thunder, so I'm just going to leave it there for now.
All right. Go ahead, Derek. Let's hear your thoughts on the Direct.
All right, well, I'm going to give it a B+ overall because for those of you that don't know this, sometimes Juice and I talk things over at work a little bit. So when he goes first and he makes some really good points, it's because he steals them from me. So just to make that clear with everybody, I agree. It was great to see, some release dates on things. They really look like they have a solid, at least the first 2 months, starting in February, of course. But a lot for 3DS. My highlights were definitely the 2 Wii U titles. I really like what they showed us with X, how expansive that world is, what they're trying to accomplish. And I got to agree with Jamie here. Splatoon, the customization, I told Juice when we were watching it, I was like, this is it. See, I needed this tiny little push to make me, seal the deal in that game, and that was it for me. That little lobby where you do all that stuff, that's it. I'm good.
Cool. Andre, why don't you go next?
Well, I think we're all in agreement. It was a B+. And honestly, my highlight for the Wii U was Splatoon, because I'm sorry, if you get that much content in the game, your customization makes your offense, your defense, your strategies all change. With your outfit, your different weapon layouts, that's amazing for something that Nintendo probably didn't put as much time into as, say, like they've done Mario Kart or maybe Smash Brothers. So that's amazing to me, especially the graphical improvement from the last time we saw it. So I'm hyped for that. For 3DS, I'm looking forward to Xenoblade Chronicles 3DS because I wasn't able to get the Wii one, so I'm happy.
All right. We all gave it a B+. No pressure, Ralph. Grade it however you feel. Go ahead and give us your thoughts.
Initially had a B overall. I mean, I thought it was overall a good direct. I was expecting, I guess, more Wii U, but I should have known since they were going to be, revealing the new 3DS and everything, that it would be more 3DS focused. And my overall highlight, I'm going with Codename Steam, dude. I love it. I've never played any game like that or anything like that, but it looks bad, man. And the amiibo support, that's how you do it right there. That's how you put amiibos in the game right there.
Absolutely.
That's a good.
Yep.
Point.
I'm loving it, man. And Wii U, I gotta go with Splatoon, man. I'm watching a dude play Xenoblade, and I'm still trying to figure out if it's my kind of game, but I'm gonna get it anyway. I'm just gonna get it, and I'm gonna try it out for myself.
Yeah, let's just quickly talk about X, since most of us, the highlight was Splatoon.
Marth.
Yeah, I don't. You can see my Marth. Let's see if I can get my finger showing up there. Right there. That's my Marth. But let's talk about X real quick, because no one picked it. I kind of thought someone would pick it as their highlight. Let's just talk real quick about the art style in general. That's what seemed like they were showing off more, was the varied environments. And as a guy who loves sci-fi and fantasy films and stuff, I was blown away. Like, that game has done nothing for me up to that point, and it almost made my highlight. It was almost my highlight, because for me it went from I'm happy for the RPG fans to, man, I might have to look into getting this game, because the alien worlds they created was right up there, like, in my mind, on par with Retro Studios in the Metroid Prime series. Like, some of the environments just looked amazing, and that's something I could get into. I don't know if the combat and the gameplay is going to do it for me, but you guys are more RPG fans. Did it change your opinion at all to see the more varied environments instead of the same like grassy mountain area we've been seeing? So whoever wants to jump in there, take it away.
Go ahead.
I want to
go ahead, Derek. Go, Derek. Go. You go. Sorry.
All right. I'm really excited. Okay, so with X, I procrastinate on just about everything. So even though I'm a huge RPG fan, I was really like, okay, well, let me see some online communication, something that utilizes internet features that can, somehow share this and enjoy this experience with friends. That's what I was really holding out for on X. And then they go ahead and they reveal, like, okay, we talked about how we want this big open world. We've seen parts of it in the past. Well, just as Juice was covering here, how they showed us. There's tons of different environments. They jumped off the waterfall. They were flying around. Pretty big-looking game. Pretty big-looking world they've constructed for us. And anyone who takes that level of time to develop that world and create it so you feel so immersed in it, the same way they've shown us with Zelda U, you've convinced me that you care enough about the game that I'm going to purchase it because I want to invest in it.
All right. JB or Rel, you go next because you were gonna say something on it.
Well, I mean, I was watching, like I said, I was watching the guy go through the whole playthrough, of the first Xenoblade, and the first Xenoblade seemed like it had a whole bunch of different kind of environments too. So, I mean, it's not, I give them credit for what they were able to do, man, because that game overall, like the art style, everything, it looks really good, but this game looks great. I hear people like complaining about like, I guess the character models, they're lifeless or whatever. Well, dude, the game looks nice, dude, and he got the same people complaining. Those are gonna be the ones that's gonna be talking about it's the best RPG of the generation. Watch.
Yeah, I was on a podcast with some people being pretty harsh on the facial detail, and I'm just like, did you see the game world? You know, this is a Wii U title. Like, did you see the size of the world and all the artistic design going into this game?
Yeah.
So Jamie, you have any quick thoughts on the more of the artistic design more than anything?
Well, I loved the first Xenoblade Chronicles, and when you're playing that game, I mean, the environments are incredibly varied depending on where you're going, and you know, with the lore of that world, it's kind of based on walking up this giant mech. Like your entire world is on 2 mechs, but you predominantly stay on 1. But no matter where you're on it, the environments are completely varied, and I was glad to see them step away from just the standard grassy mountainish thing in this trailer and kind of branch out and show us more of the other environments that we can expect in that game. So I expect that we're going to see more as far as the environments are concerned that we did in this first Xenoblade Chronicles. So we're going to get a lot of variation when we move to different zones or different areas. So I was excited to see it, definitely.
Cool. Yeah, they're saying that they're pretty far along in the localization, and rumor has it releasing on April 29th in Japan. So I mean, that could be an early fall, late summer title, I think, here in the U.S. So I think a lot of people are gonna be excited for that. So Andre, he said that he's gonna be right back. So we're gonna jump to the next topic here, and we're not going to discuss the new 3DS as a system and all that because we've known about this since August and we've talked about it to death. I want to focus on the limited edition, collector edition, whatever you want to call it, and the limited supply and what kind of transpired there with, you know, pre-orders selling out and people buying more than one and all that. You know, there's going to be scalpers, and then I guess if the AC adapter thing bugs you, you can mention that too, you know. So I'm just going to start off, announce this officially for the first time on air. I have the Majora's Mask new 3DS pre-ordered from Best Buy, and I got it about a half hour before they sold out. You guys are all mad. I didn't even want a new 3DS. But
Damn you.
I saw that I knew it was going to be short supply, and I saw an opportunity. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. I got the means right now, and maybe this will push me to play my 3DS more. So I got that. I feel bad for all the people that really, really just wanted that one. And I'm a Zelda fan. The design's pretty cool. I wasn't completely blown away by the design, but it was good enough for me. But there's a lot of shortages, and I guess Best Buy actually... Apparently, we're going to force people that ordered more than one. They were going to refund them and say limit one per customer. I don't know if that actually happens. So, just how do you guys feel about the shortage? How they're a limited supply and basically announcing this a month before it come out. So there's no way they could like have all these pre-orders. They wouldn't even be able to make more probably within a month to fill pre-orders. So how do you feel about Nintendo making these limited editions, GameStop exclusive? Monster Hunter and all the hoopla that this created for people. So, Andre, if you're back, why don't you take it off or start it off? If you're not, then we'll have. Oh, there you go. Start us off. Start us off. What are your thoughts on the whole 3DS debacle with the limited supply and stuff?
Nintendo in this case with the special editions, they know Zelda has a huge fan base. And they know Monster Hunter has a huge fan base. So my thinking would have been to kind of just, make a little bit more of the special editions right off the bat than the regular ones. So that way more people would have an opportunity to get those, because people are going to go crazy just to get anything special or any enhanced people are going to go nuts just to get those things, and to me it was kind of short-sighted. I mean, maybe they can put some more out on the market, but I think in the early game for the new 3DS, that was kind of short-sighted. They should have known at least people are going to just jump on the opportunity to get it. And it shows with people trying to put them up for like 400, 500, and I think there was one even for like $1,000 for
Ridiculous.
Majora's Mask new 3DS. That's just nuts.
Yeah, and if anybody pays that, then that's their dumb stupidity.
No, I wholly agree, but I'm just saying, short order, if it's a rare item, if somebody's going to try to scalp it. So,
yeah.
So let me go to Derek next, because I know you don't want the basic ones. You don't want the black or the red, so you wanted one of these. So why don't you give us your thoughts on it? And I'm going to pose this question to you. Should Nintendo have opened up pre-orders a month sooner, 2 months sooner, taken orders, and then had made sure they could manufacture enough to fill supply? Would you think that would have been a better way to do it?
Sure. Your introduction to me on this one makes me sound a little butthurt, and I kind of am. So, but first off, I definitely agree, because if they had done that, let's say anyone that pre-orders it and wants it and gets it, we'll close it a month or 2 months before they come out. Pre-orders are done, and we'll manufacture that many. Then there you go. It is special and it is limited because we're not going to make any more. Not a bad idea. Then everybody who wants one and is on top of it gets one. Here's where I'm a little sore on the subject. One, it's the exact same price point as the normal one. So for us who follow this stuff regularly, this is really crappy for some of us. Which one do you? Because you're there, you're watching the direct, you're watching it live, you're ready for this, and you've known about these things. Last year we were announced and then you find out that you were at the hospital, you're going to get the standard version. It's hard to feel that when, you feel like you're if it was any more expensive, I wouldn't get it. It's not worth it to me to pay extra at all. But at the same price, you're like, well, why would I go to the release date that I could just pick up 3 months later? That's it. Should I just use a special edition? Should I buy the I've been back and forth in my head.
All right. And Jamie had a little background noise that was kind of cutting into you. I got the gist of what you're saying, but yeah, Jamie, I guess when Derek's talking, or if you can mute your mic, because his earbuds mic's a little iffy sometimes. So
yeah, I was wondering what was causing that. I apologize, and
yeah,
it might have been my TV, so I'll turn that down.
All right. Sorry, Derek. I mean, I didn't really get the last 30 seconds of it. If you feel like repeating yourself, I guess for the audience's sake, if you want to just repeat that real quick, or
I don't remember what I said.
Man, it seemed like such an invigorated speech too.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
When I talk, it's kind of like it's in the moment. You can't repeat stuff.
Yeah, I should have.
I'm going to say it because it's today, but think about it. If someone wasn't recording Martin Luther King, how much of that speech, if someone was like, oh, I missed that, can you repeat, the I have a dream part? Because we all missed that. Would he have been able to do it with the same enthusiasm the second time?
No.
Maybe.
Can you give us...
maybe to his credit he could, but I'm not...
Can you give us the cliff notes? Can you give us the cliff notes of the gist?
Sure. I'll do my best. Very excited for it. I feel disappointed because there's those of us that follow this stuff so closely, we feel like we're watching the direct. We should be able to get this exclusive edition, only to find out that, hey, it's not even available at the same price. You have to buy this normal one. I don't care that you're a huge Nintendo fan and you are one of the, not everybody watches those things live and jumps online to order the stuff right away. But if you were one of those people, don't you feel like you should have got it if you took the time out of your day to support Nintendo in that way? So that's where I'm a little sore. It's like, why should I have to wait and pick up a normal edition for the same price? And I say normal, with that tone. just because someone else wanted to buy 30 copies and sell them. It's just like, it's hard not to be a little sore at that situation. But, Nintendo and limited editions, there's nothing new there, though the craze of them completely selling out seems to have picked up a trend lately. I still can't get a GameCube adapter. I don't even know what's up with that.
Yeah, I keep looking. Every week I go to a store and look.
I'll tell you, they're actually stocking them right now.
Yeah, I was about to say that they're putting them out.
All right, I'll have to check Best Buy tomorrow at lunch or something.
I want to kind of add on to that, because as far as special editions and Amiibo actually are concerned, when it comes to the rare ones, these retailers, Nintendo needs to drive it into these retailers. They sell one per person. That's all they need to be selling, because all this stuff's going right online for the scalpers, and that's a serious issue.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything to say on the 3DS shortages? Andre,
I want to hear Rel, because he got a normal one. I don't even know if he tried to get the other one.
Yeah, well, let's
finger and went for the normal edition.
Let's all take the opportunity to say, if you guys are getting one, which one are you getting? Which color? Which edition? We'll start with you, Ralph.
I'm getting the regular one, the red one, because I'm just kind of, like I said, I was just kind of tired of the black, so I said I'll go with the red. But yeah, it's still kind of annoying, that whole situation right there, because I took a day off of work to watch this. Okay, yeah, I took a day off of work. I lied to my supervisor. Because they drop these directs like randomly, so I'm
yours was really early there.
Yeah, and I woke up at 6, and I was all hyped, and they show that Majora's Mask at the end, and then I'm like, oh, I kind of needs to get that, but I went to GameStop, and they're like, well, the pre-orders open 3 hours early on the East Coast, so it's all pre-ordered up. They think all the people on the East Coast pre-ordered all up. I'm like, How is that right? How is that fair? How is that right, dude? Like, it's just annoying, dude. That's all I can really say about it. It just goes along with the Amiibos, and I don't know if that getting the Rosalina one, that's the only one that I don't have already, like, pre-ordered and paid for, is that one. Because as soon as, I went online, it was, unavailable. So, I don't know, man. It's just annoying.
Ralph, hold up here. Your story is so passionate. So this whole thing happened. You took a day off work. You got completely burned because of your time zone. I would have been so furious, but after that whole conversation, you're like, all right, fuck it, give me the red one.
Yeah, because I just want one, dude. I don't really care. And I'm kind of wondering with the Majora's Mask, is it gonna be like the Link Between World one, the Link Between World ones? You know how you couldn't find. Yeah, you might be able to find them later on, and we're still getting them. So
it'll be in the stores that don't do pre-orders, there's Walmart's and Meijer's in our area. We'll have them probably on launch day, but not very many, I wouldn't think. Jamie, did you have a story about the 3DS, or is that something else?
No, I did actually. I did. Basically, I saw the direct, and I was like, man, it was Majora's Mask 3DS. That would be amazing, but I don't have any money right now. And then I got an email from my credit card company saying, congratulations, we increased your limit. I was like, oh, that's not something to tell me today. So, so I, of course, went online, and it said not available for online purchase because they were sold out, whatever else. So I called up GameStop, and lo and behold, one particular employee I'm actually pretty friendly with was there. And I was like, hey, do you have any of the Majora's Mask 3DS still available for pre-order? She was like, yeah, we do currently have it. It is in stock. We can order it in the store. And basically what they'll do is they'll ship it to you, so it's going to be like a week and a half before I get it once it releases. But anyway, but they can order it in the store. I was like, all right, I've got lunch in an hour. I should be able to make it there and back. Whatever else. And I even got one of the balls, so I was like, hey, look, if I have to take an extended lunch, is it cool if I just work over this afternoon? He's like, yeah, cool, that's fine. So go out to GameStop on my lunch break, and I'm there, and we try to order it, and it cancels out right at the confirm screen. We go through everything's fine, about to pay, hit confirm, error. And we did that a number of times, and it kept erroring out, and it would stall out, and there was this issue, and customers were coming and going at the same time, and she was the only one working in the store. So I was sitting there in that store for almost an hour. Keep in mind, I have a 30-minute lunch, as it is. So I'm sitting there in the store for almost an hour, and we get to the very point again after like 6 or 7 tries, and we get to the converter screen, we hit it, and it says, the error this time was different, because it said, error, this item is no longer available as ordered, or something along that. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me right now. Like, all right, look, I'm going to need the district manager's name and phone number, because I got to get back to work. Get back to work, and I look at my email. I have 4 confirmation emails, and I never paid $1 for it. So,
Really?
Yeah, so I had 4 confirmation emails. So I called up the district manager and was like, hey, this is what the issue is. I got these emails, whatever else. And he says, okay, I can't guarantee you're going to get one, but go into the store, tell them you've got the confirmation email, so on and so forth, and we should be done. Of course, go into the store after work. Different people are there. And I say, hey, look, I need to get the Majora's Mask 3DS. And before I can even finish, they cut me off. They're like, yeah, we don't have it. We can't get it. I'm like, okay, I've got confirmation emails. Here's some numbers. Pull them up. And turns out that actually 2 of the 4 were still available for me to purchase, which I only got 1 because I'm not a filthy scalper. You know, so I was able to actually get the Majora's Mask 3DS.
Nice.
I was really happy about that.
I wouldn't count your
Adventures in
blessings.
3DS hunting.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't count your blessings until it's in your hands.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm like waiting for the cancel email every day, and I'm just going to go cry in the shower.
I'm still skeptical as well. So, Andre, do you have a story? Are you going to get a new 3DS? Are you waiting?
Well, I plan on getting it, and I was going to go ahead and pre-order the the Majora's Mask one, but after the pre-order sold, I was like, fuck it. Okay, I'll just wait, and maybe they'll restock them later, and I'll get it then. Or I can pull the move I pulled before with my A Link Between Worlds 3DS and get it from Walmart's online store where people weren't buying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I think that launch day, that Friday or whatever, I have a feeling there's going to be some available. You might have to drive to a couple stores, but the people that really, really want that one, I think there's still a chance, but it's going to take a little effort, I would think.
Chances are you're going to have to hit up the non-electronic stores that hold that stuff and hopefully spot one and get it.
Mm-hmm. It'd be like kind of like a treasure hunt, so it could be fun. I might go look for one.
This is the one thing I could say Nintendo is good at. They are good at making people go on scavenger hunts.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but...
Well, you gotta think, the fans are dedicated enough to hunting this stuff down.
Yeah. There's some dedication.
Amiibo!
Like, I really want a Lucina and what was the other one that's going to be available?
Robin.
There's one, not Robin. Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, yeah.
They haven't announced any dates for the 4th wave, and I'm going to have to pre-order immediately because that's.
Call your
Juice, I thought
GameStop
you were
every day.
done with the Amiibos, man.
I got to get Pac-Man and Lucina.
Yeah.
Then I'm done for good. If I don't get them, I won't be that upset. But all right, let's move on to the main topic here. I'm going to kind of set this up. So, none of us, I don't think anyone here bases their purchases on reviews. We're not here to make reviews sound like they're super important or anything. So, I buy a game from what I see in Nintendo Directs or demos or other people talking about it. Reviews are just a little bit of a guideline for some people, like Sonic Boom. If I didn't look at the reviews and see that it was a 3 out of 10 or whatever, I might have went and tried to buy that game and try it. So there's some situations where reviews can be helpful. But we did the Gamers at Large did the video yesterday. We announced all the winners for 2014 Games of the Year, and we were. I don't want to give away. Go watch that video. It was very entertaining to record. Hopefully, it'll be just as entertaining to watch. But
The Largies?
The Largies, yes.
Okay.
The Largie Wars. So, doing that, talking to other people, we did on the Juices Loose, Derek, Rel, myself, and Mike did all our top games, and it was always between Bayonetta and Smash. Just about any Nintendo fan I've talked to, it's between Bayonetta 2 and Smash, pretty much. But then you look at all the major websites, and a lot of the games of the year, it's been Dragon Age or Shadows of Mordor. But the Wii game of the year is what I want to talk about, or the Nintendo game of the year. Every major website had Mario Kart 8 as their Wii game of the year, and Eurogamer had it as their overall game of the year. So us as Nintendo fans, it seemed to be Bayonetta and Smash. So first of all, what are your guys' thoughts on Mario Kart 8 kind of being the front runner, the only real Wii U game that's won Game of the Year and has won Best Wii U or Best Nintendo Game? Is that surprising? And especially since a lot of the reviews were, 8, 8.5, 9s. There wasn't too many super high scores. So I guess I'll go to you first, Rel. You got a lot of time in Mario Kart 8. We played a lot, so
Yeah.
I think it was number 2 or 3 on your list.
I think it was 3.
Okay, it was 3 on mine as well.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about Mario Kart 8 being basically the only game that's got Game of the Year for Wii U, and it's won just about everyone's best Nintendo game of 2014?
For me, it's kind of hard to argue it because I mean, after picking up it again this past Thursday with you, I had a blast with it, man. I can keep going back to it. I can kind of understand and see where they're coming from with that game. You know what I mean? Like sometimes with Smash, I feel like putting it down for a while. Like I haven't been playing it. I've been playing local, like at my family's and stuff like that. But other than that, Smash has been kind of sitting down. But Mario Kart, man, I can see where they're coming from with that, man. I can see where they're coming from with that as that being their game of the year.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw this to Andre. Do you think maybe the DLC helped influence because their initial reviews weren't as high? Do you think maybe that DLC maybe helped influence and the online itself being such a popular component to the game?
Well, you hit it right where what I was going to talk about. That's probably the main reason. It's that DLC that got added. Everybody got excited about it. People are hurrying to be able to play and knock their buddies off the road on these new maps, and I have a feeling the same thing is going to happen again with the Animal Crossing pack that's coming.
Yeah.
It's going to reinvigorate the game and make more people want to play it, and that's probably why it was getting the game of the year for most of these sites. Is just a lot more people were ready to jump back to that game because of the additional content.
It's like half a new game got added.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, basically, you pay $12, you get half of what the game already was added to it.
Yeah.
That won't
That's
even
not a
get
bad
you.
deal.
In Evolve, it costs $15 for one monster. So just to compare, that game that comes out, I forget, in February. So Jamie, I'm going to throw a different spin on it. Do you think it was Mario Kart 8's popularity and its good sales that maybe influenced it getting best Nintendo Game of the Year, best Euro game, or best Game of the Year for Eurogamer? Do you think, how these sites are about getting clicks and stuff? That's how they make their revenue. Do you think maybe the game being so popular was a factor?
I would bet on it because Mario Kart 8 is definitely the best Mario Kart yet, and it's a fantastic game. But in my opinion, there were better games than the Wii U this year. But Mario Kart 8 is hugely popular. It's sold tons of Wii U's, it's sold millions and millions of copies of the game, and it's probably the most popular and well-known Wii U title at the moment. So I think that was probably their biggest influence for naming a Game of the Year.
Yeah, I would think. And we didn't even have it nominated, I don't think, in the games at large for best Game of the Year, if I recall. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think it was. So Derek, I know you follow reviews even less than anyone else, I think. But how do you feel knowing that Mario Kart 8 is basically the front runner instead of like Smash, which a lot of us think it should be, or Bayonetta 2? How do you feel about that?
Well, I can really reiterate exactly what Jamie said. There's definitely been better games for the Wii U, but as far as something better to put on the front of your web page or article, Mario Kart 8 is going to grab some attention. Mario Kart 8's, I'm going to say the word casual, but anyone can pick that game up and play it so easily, where Smash, very much in the same boat, but I feel like it's less approachable than Mario Kart when you compare the two side by side. For someone who's never played either, I think more people would lean towards Mario Kart, so it is more recognizable. between the two. So yeah, it definitely is a great game. It's not like they nominated some crap title. So I have no problems with it. It is what it is. It's probably some marketing, on their part.
Yeah, it's casual until you have a couple Sony and PC guys trying to play it, and they can't even beat 100cc. So, like, they can't even get in the top 10 in 100cc. So, it's not as easy as people think.
No, and I'm terrible at it. Compared to really.
All right, so with that out of the way, it's been Mario Kart 8's won a couple. Then you have Dragon Age has won a few Game of the Years, and Shadows of Mordor won GameSpot's Game of the Year, and it won the Game Awards Game of the Year. But I wanted to dive into the review part of this now because, all right, Polygon, they gave it Dragon Age Game of the Year. They actually gave that a 9.5, so it's like, okay, that's legit. IGN, they gave it a 8.9, wins Game of the Year. And Game Trailers, who gave Hearthstone Game of the Year, they gave that a 9 out of 10. When Bayonetta 2 got a 9.8 on that same site. And on IGN, they gave Bayonetta 2 a 9.5 as well. And I know that that's one person's opinion. The Game of the Year is the group choice. But that's kind of what I want to talk about is how does a review represent a website when the Game of the Year comes around, like, everyone picks a different game, and it's almost like, I don't know what the answer is, but it seems like they need to have more than just one person's opinion, like review at least major titles, I would think. So, the big discrepancy though is GameSpot. Last year, to my joy, was A Link Between Worlds won their Game of the Year in 2013.
That made a lot of people mad.
Yeah, but the reviewer gave it an 8 out of 10. And not to be outdone, this year, Shadows of Mordor is their Game of the Year. That got an 8 out of 10 by the reviewer. And it's just like, it doesn't seem consistent. And this person, is it a factor of reviewers have to get the games reviewed and out really quick, and maybe over time they actually get to play the game the way it should be with a little more slower pace? Maybe people enjoyed the game a lot more when they didn't have to review it. So this kind of a general thing, but how do you feel about how are these reviews? First of all, they have to be done. They got to rush through them, and then later on, a game gets a lower score, and then here it is as Game of the Year. So I think it's interesting, and I'm going to go with Andre first, and I don't know what your take is on it. If you got anything you want to talk about with that, but how do you feel, or what could they do different to maybe alleviate or change that so that the the score wasn't so much lower than you would think for a Game of the Year winner?
Honestly, I can't even think of a way that would for sure be a concrete way to solve the problem of the review score being lower for a Game of the Year candidate than for a non-Game of the Year candidate. The only thing I can think of is, like what you said, is have more than maybe two, maybe 3 people. And my daughter's sitting here talking. Have 2, maybe 3 people review a game, and each of them give their own summary of their impressions of the game, and still have your main review. I don't remember which gaming magazine did it. I think it was either, I think Jamie had said it earlier, it was either GamePro or Game Informer that used to do it, but I can't remember which one. But you always had that second, at least a second opinion on the game with a brief summary of what another person thought. So it would make more sense if, say, this one reviewer just didn't like the game. Okay, we have somebody else who reviewed it, and maybe they did like the game, and that could explain the possibility of what others at that organization felt about that particular game, as opposed to the one person that just said, "Oh, screw it, I don't like this game. I'm just play it on easy and get it done with."
Yeah, that's a good point. Possibly they would have, this is something I was thinking, have almost like a quality control person. Okay, you gave the level design or the gameplay a 6 out of 10. Prove it to me that this is a 6 out of 10. And if there's a glaring score that low or something, maybe have some people come in and say, hey, why are you giving this a 6 out of 10? Because you're representing IGN, you're representing GameSpot. Not just, it's not like it's some person on YouTube giving their review. They're representing the company they work for. So I'm going to go to Jamie next. What are your thoughts on all this?
My thoughts on the whole thing are that I completely lost track of my thought there. See what, come back to me. Let me gather my thoughts on that one.
All right, mute your mic. I'm going to have Derek go, so we don't want him to get cut off.
Excellent. Awesome. I think Andre covered it really well. With a very good possibility. It's hard to say. Our reviewers, their first pass at the game, are they trying not to look at it with rose-tinted glasses, perhaps? Because, when we first get a game, isn't it the most awesome game ever, and we love it, and we're praising it? Maybe they're trying not to do that, so they're trying to undersell the game a little bit. There's definitely got to be some money involved in here. I don't know what that quality control person's really going to do. Like, hey, why'd you nominate Call of Duty for best platformer? And it's like, oh, well, because Microsoft paid us $2 million to do it, so it's the best platformer. How much does that factor in? I don't know. As for reviews, scores themselves not actually matching up, it's so hard to really even say how review scores work because, like you brought out before, like, why would Bayonetta 1, it should never get a review score higher than Bayonetta 2, realistically, because, the time frame it came out, and then how do you compare it to other games of the same genre, and there's so much, so it's not like a 9 for Smash is a 9 across all gaming. It's, that's why I don't put a lot of stock in them. I really don't even look at the scores. I like to read what people say about it, really, like, oh, okay, they really like this. I don't care that they give it a 5 out of 10. What did they like about it? What did they hate about it? Do some of these complaints sound fabricated or exaggerated? Are other people, backing their claims up? I guess that's about ends my thought there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Like what you said there, and I lost my train of thought, just like Jamie just said. But I liked what you said, and I think that's a good point, though, that, a 9 for Smash is not necessarily a 9 out of all gaming. It's just fitting for that particular game. And I'm getting a lot of feedback from somebody. Somebody's got, like, their mic feedback. But anyway, yeah, I think in review scores aren't the end-all thing, like you said. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. I'll see, like, a review, and I'll read the pros and cons. And then, like you said, if the con is something ridiculous, which is the next kind of part of this topic, we'll get to. I'll explain that when we get to it. And it's like, didn't somebody say, hey, listen, show us that this is really as bad as you're saying, or is this as good as you're saying? At some point, they got to have, I think in government, they have a name for it, and I cannot think of like a group to kind of oversee.
Checks and balances?
No, like overseers, I think is what it's called, or something.
Czars.
That's a pretty cool, job title, overseer.
Yeah. So, Jamie, did you recapture your thoughts yet?
I did, actually. I did.
All right.
I firmly believe that review scores need to be abolished altogether. Just do away with them. Who did it recently? There was a big site that recently eliminated their review scores. I cannot remember who it was right offhand. But, I mean, there was a site, a major site, that decided they were just going to get rid of review scores altogether. So if you wanted to see what they thought about the game, you have to actually go and read the review, which is how most people should do anyway. A lot of people will just go and look at the score, and they'll tally it up as either a win for their favorite game. How many wins do they have compared to this other game that other people like that maybe they might hate. The score in a lot of cases doesn't even matter. It's for little more than bragging rights, and in the days of Metacritic, unfortunately, some people's paychecks. So that's a big issue with it. And as Polygon has showed us with Bayonetta 2, it also leaves the review scores also kind of give us agenda-driven reviews, which is not a positive thing. I mean, regardless of where your political stance is and where you stand, politics have no business being in the general gaming consumer market. There's plenty of room for games that might show a specific agenda, but the reviewers themselves, which are supposed to have some air of impartiality, need to actually take whatever agenda, whatever politics they have, and keep them out of the reviews. You know, they might say, well, I take offense with this, or might have an issue with that, but don't drag an entire game down because women in skimpy clothing make you insecure. You know, that's ridiculous. Review scores got to go. I'm done with them.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because if you read everything else from that review on Polygon, it sounded like the dude just loved the gameplay, the mechanics, and then it came down to, well, I was offended, so it's a 7.5. But if you didn't have that score, you'd still think it was a really good review. So, and like I said, I check the pros and cons. I usually watch the video review, so you don't have to read the whole thing. But check the pros and cons and see what you disagree with. Like if their con is, it's just another platformer, or I don't like platformers in general just don't get me excited or something, then I know, okay, I love platformers, so that makes that review invalid or something. So
yeah, that entire review read like, oh man, this game's great, the gameplay's fantastic, the graphics are awesome, I like the story, but it made me uncomfortable in the pants, so 6.5.
And meanwhile, Polygon gave GTA 5 a 10, and that has lap dances with topless. You can get two girls dancing on you at once, completely topless, but that's okay.
You mean Misogyny Murder Simulator 2014?
Yeah. But a girl who's like slapping a horse's ass or something in leather pants that's just too much. That's ridiculous. So Rel
sounds like Bobby Brown.
Yeah, he ruined Whitney Houston. I don't like Bobby Brown. She was awesome, and he ruined her. But anyway, Rel, do you have anything to say about or add on to what everyone said here?
I just kind of agree with what Jamie was saying. Like, reviews just, to me, they just kind of gotta go, because, like you said, you're gonna have the individuals that are gonna probably be reviewing a platformer that don't even enjoy platformers. So I mean, it's all just based off of opinion. I mean, I still like to look at reviews just generally, I guess, just to go through them and stuff like that. I typically don't pay attention to the Nintendo reviews because I already know that most of them are going to be good, and I know the games are going to be good in quality. That might sound a little fanboyish, but we all know that it's true.
It's just true.
Yeah, it's true, but the only one I can say I probably should have listened to, like I told you, was Yoshi's New Island on 3DS.
Yeah.
But other than that, I kind of agree with the whole review system. Kind of needs to go, man. Just state your opinion or whatever, and like how Game Explain do it, liked it, loved it, or whatever. Just kind of go with that kind of thing, because then you go with the number system, and then it's like it's not adding up with you, like you're saying, with the Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I wanted to get this conversation going. I don't think that because Shadows of Mordor got an 8, it shouldn't be a Game of the Year. I just thought it'd be interesting to talk about, what they could do differently to avoid people getting upset about that, because I'd be a hypocrite if I said it was stupid, because last year I was happy that Link Between Worlds got it instead of like GTA 5 or Last of Us, because Link Between Worlds was an amazing game. So let me throw this one last example out. We're talking about agendas. There was a UK-based site. I'm not going to name it. I don't want anybody to go to it. I don't want it to get any clicks. They reviewed Hyrule Warriors, or they gave somebody the job to review Hyrule Warriors. In the first paragraph, he's not a big Zelda fan, and he dislikes Dynasty Warriors games. In the first paragraph, he makes that clear, and then he went on to say the game had PS2 level graphics, and he said late PS2, possibly first year Xbox 360 graphics, and I'm like,
that's insulting.
That's just a complete lie. So you don't like Dynasty Warriors, you're not a huge Zelda fan, probably hate Nintendo, and I forget what the final score was, like a 6, 5 out of 10, something like that. But when you just absolutely fabricate something, that's when you got to think clickbait. We haven't discussed that yet. I got in an argument with somebody on Player Essence saying that review scores can't be clickbait, and I gave a couple examples: Skyward Sword, Tropical Freeze, and some other games that deserved way higher scores got low scores, and this was one of the other example. So what do you guys think about, is clickbait, for their website? They know that a low score that stands out is going to get more clicks than just the average score. Anybody agree, disagree with that?
I can agree. Heck, even think about it, even high reviewed scores can be used as clickbait.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, why does Call of Duty always score high?
Except for last year was the only year it didn't. But
yeah, and that was because everything was
year after year.
what was that?
I said because it's the best game of all time, year after year.
Oh
That's
yeah,
why it gets high.
the best game.
They
Never
don't
gets.
have to change anything every year because it's the best game ever.
Hey, I'm not gonna bash. I have fun playing Call of Duty when I do play it. You know.
See, here's the difference. The reason it didn't get quite as high reviews last year is because Activision's advertising budget was much lower.
Wow, well, there it is.
So I just got a message from Mr. T. He said he's watching. So what's up, foos? He's actually has a question listed. So this is gonna be perfect if Mr. T's watching this because this was his game of the year. This is gonna be the last topic, then we're gonna do some questions. It's still in the same vein of what we're talking about here, but GameSpot, they had a guy in the UK review Bayonetta 2, gives it a 10 out of 10. Loved it, made a bunch of good points. But he had to present his case. I was listening to them talk about it. He had to present his case because they don't give out 10 out of 10s, and he won. All his points were received, and they accepted the 10 out of 10. That same person reviews Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze and gives it a 6 out of 10. And he also had to justify that, and his justification was that he found it difficult, he couldn't get into a flow, and I quote, the levels were dull and boring. And that was basically his reasoning for the low score, and also it was played too similar to other Donkey Kong Country games. And then GameSpot realizes that that guy was off. They don't change the score. They don't give a second opinion. But when it comes to best Nintendo game of the year, they throw Tropical Freeze in there, and they know that they have to give an explanation. They can't just throw it in there. And they said that basically everyone else in the room considered that an 8, a 9, and even one person a 10 out of 10. So that kind of even proves the point even more about having one person review it. Obviously didn't like the game, but everyone else loved it. Why didn't they step in and say, hey, this score's not right, we're going to have somebody else review it or something. So I know Mr. T, that probably hurt him, just knowing somebody was ballsy enough to give that game a 6 out of 10 or ignorant enough, whatever you want to say. Yet they kind of made amends by nominating it for Game of the Year, or Wii Game of the Year, Wii U Game of the Year, I should say, and gave the justification that everyone else thought it was at least an 8 or 9, or even one person said a 10 out of 10. So you guys, I know Derek hasn't played Tropical Freeze. I don't know about anyone else, but just that's the last part of this on the review part. I mean, how do you feel about, even though review scores, we know that that game's great, somebody gives it a 6, they let it happen, and then they try to kind of undo it at the end of the year by saying basically the opposite for the game. So, Rel, why don't you go ahead and tell me what you think of that?
Well, you know, it's ridiculous, dude. I mean, like you said, it just seemed okay. He liked Bayonetta, but he didn't like Tropical Freeze. To me, that just kind of got like, he's not a platforming fan like written all over it. So why you even have? Nobody's just gonna go pick up this game, dude. You know, platformer fans, you know, people that like the old games. These are the individuals that's gonna go pick up these games. So why are you having somebody that honestly, I don't think Donkey Kong honestly appealed to him, and you know it didn't appeal to him. Anytime he's gonna say the environments were dull. Something's wrong with this cat, man, because that is a complete lie, dude. I mean, that is a pretty game, colorful. I mean, there's nothing more you can ask for, man, in that game. I mean, Retro kicked it up a whole nother level, man. So I mean, that's just stupid, and it's crazy that stuff like that, you know, gets by like that. You know, so I think it's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the levels. There was so much imagination. There was so much going on in the backgrounds, the colors. Dull is just there's no way that they should have let that slide.
The music alone, like, I mean, come on, dude. Like,
yeah,
dull. That's stupid.
What about, okay, Jamie, I'm gonna go to you next. What about the part where he was taking points off for it being Donkey Kong Country game, playing too similar to another Donkey Kong Country game, and you know this game was called Donkey Kong Country.
you might as well mark down every game in existence as it is. Because that's ridiculous. Mark down every Madden, mark down every Call of Duty, mark down every Assassin's Creed, mark down every game as a sequel to anything ever. Because that's basically what they did. Because Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, yeah, it's a Donkey Kong Country game. You know, I wouldn't go into it expecting Titanfall. I mean, what were they thinking? Who does that?
I mean, I don't go to that website much anymore, but I was interested for this video to go kind of do some research and check out what they thought the best Nintendo game was and the best game of the year. Yeah, it's just interesting. Derek, I know you didn't play it. You did see me play it a little bit. I don't know if you have anything to add. If you don't, we'll ask Andre, and then we can go on to questions and answers.
I'll throw something real quick in here, and that is that, you know, between you and I, who communicate quite often, we actually have a pretty grand exposure of games, because there's, you know, the genres and stuff that I lean towards, and there's the games that you lean towards, and then there's the ones that we kind of both like Mario Kart. You're a little more, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So Donkey Kong, while I may not be a huge platformer fan, I talk to you. I've seen pictures you put up. I've talked to other people online. I really like to follow this stuff, perhaps as a hobby. So I can say that even though this game, not for me, I wouldn't enjoy it very much, probably a 6 out of 10 game for me. Watching other people playing it, watching other people's reactions, seeing the environments for myself, just in Miiverse posts, I can tell you that the environments are not bland. It seemed like people were really enjoying just putting pictures up of the environments. Probably not something you would do if they weren't worth showing off. So, you know, anyone who's bothered to look into this stuff a little bit, you know, or really pay attention can really discredit a lot of these reviews. And that's kind of the unfortunate thing about it, because some people really will just take them at face value, and then Donkey Kong doesn't get the praise it deserves, doesn't get the sales it deserves, and then we don't see another one. I mean, what is this about? You know, the Wii U was struggling really hard at that time. You know, it was just, you know, it needed that. It didn't need people lying and making things up. It's just a shame when you see that anywhere.
Yeah, that's good points, actually. You know, and then there are the opposite side. There are the diehard Nintendo fans that automatically give games 10 out of 10.
Of
Not
course.
going to say that, but a 6 out of 10 for that game is just, for the reasons they gave, was just absolutely ridiculous. So, and then, you know, they gave Bayonetta a 10, and then that doesn't win their game of the year, but that's how it works. So that's it for this topic. We went pretty deep with it. I'm happy with how that turned out. And now we're going to get to some questions and then wrap this up. So I'm going to ask Jamie this. This is from Ms. T. Because no one really commented on it in this podcast. How do you feel about the new 3DS not having a charger? It's not a problem for him, but for gamers new to the 3DS, it will present an issue. Do you think Nintendo should have just ate the cost themselves? And then second part of that, how do you feel about the lame colors for the 3DS we got here in the U.S.?
Well, I think they should definitely eat the cost and actually include an AC adapter, because that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Or a charging thing, not an AC adapter. What am I thinking? Anyway, but they should have definitely eaten the cost on that one. I mean, it's not going to really bother me too much. And I mean, I listened to Active Gamer Life earlier today. It was a podcast he did kind of a few days ago, but he actually made the point that you can get those things, the charging cables for 3DS, actually really cheap places like Walmart, because, you know, $5, you know, but still, that's $5 you shouldn't have to spend. So I understand Nintendo's reason for doing it, but at the same time, they probably should have just eaten the cost as it was and included the charger.
Yeah, it feels a little Vita-like to me with the memory cards that were required to play the Vita but weren't included. At least the AC or the chargers aren't jacked up ridiculous price. So that's the one good thing. I got mine for $8 off Amazon, official Nintendo one. So
Nice.
But I guess I'll ask the second part of this question to. We'll go to Derek. How do you feel about the lame colors for the 3DS we got here in the U.S.? And did you see what Europe and Japan got this awesome white one with the colored buttons? And I showed you that picture of the Majora's Mask faceplate. That looks amazing. So what's your thoughts on just the colors, the standard colors that we got here in the U.S.?
Okay. Well, let me just, I guess I can kind of wrap up the XL versus the small one, too. You know, less choices for a launch title. You know, you were kind of on the table, well, do I want to get the one with the faceplate, the one without? poof. For better or for worse, Nintendo took the choice away from you, and now you know. The same with the colors. Now, I know you really like the white ones, so the only thing I don't understand is why would we not get the same colors that they have? I get why you want a small selection of SKU colors, when it first launches. Release more colors later, but you don't need to release the rainbow of colors when it first launches because some of them, a couple of them, are not going to be popular. You're going to have a warehouse full of some unpopular color, and it's all wasted money. So come out with a small number of choices for people, plus your special editions. Guarantee that you're going to, reduce your inventory. The only real questionable thing to me is, the white one was cool, right? I mean, a lot of people were really excited about that. You've already designed that. Why would you not release it? But
yeah, I don't know if they had an XL in white though. That might be another issue.
Maybe that is the issue. Maybe we'll get one down the road. Probably. They seem, the colors they have for the 3DS, we'll probably get a white one.
Well, there was the Animal Crossing one, that was white. Also, the Pikachu one was white everywhere else except for the faceplate.
Yeah, that's true. So, Tony Coran asked this question. I don't know what this means, so if you do, please answer this question. Rumor has it that Cos Moss would be a playable character in the Wii U exclusive game, that free-to-play game from Bandai Namco. Do you guys think the rumor could be true? Does anybody know who Cos Moss is, or Cosmos?
I think that's a character from Xenosaga on PlayStation 2. I never really played through Xenosaga, but I've heard Cosmos before, and I think it's from Xenosaga.
I can affirm that yes, that is where she is from because of Project Cross Zone. They give all the character origins in the game.
So why would a Bandai Namco game have that character?
Well, because it actually stems from Namco.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's their IP.
Yeah, and see, I didn't even play through all the way through Project X Zone, so that actually sounds kind of legitimate to me. So it's possible. Who knows?
All right. Thanks for the question. And Teresa wants to know just how much do you think Nintendo of America has messed up the new Nintendo 3DS launch in North America? Rel, how do you think? Do you think they messed it up, and if so, how badly would you say?
I guess they messed it up a little bit with the not getting the smaller version with the customizable faceplates. I would say they probably dropped the ball a little bit there, and I don't see the adapter charging cable being a real big deal, but like for individuals that are just picking the 3DS up and don't know that it doesn't come with it, I can see that being like a big inconvenience for people. So I think they dropped the ball on those two right there because I was actually on the fence of downsizing myself and going to the little one so I can get the customizable plates too, but
and they did increase the screen size to 1.3 something times the original, which was almost good enough. It just was a little small, and I think the new size was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
With the customizable faceplates, it was like I was excited when I saw that Ambassador Edition come out in the UK. I was like, I gotta get one of those. But,
yeah, that looked nice, man. And like Foxy said, we got that stripped away from us. We don't got a chance. So.
Let me propose this: since they created this new hardware, wouldn't the better solution just to put a micro SD charging like all cell phones have now? Like.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yes.
Wouldn't that have been a good compromise? You don't get it, but you can charge it with any USB micro.
Yeah, because in the direct, he kind of made it seem like, oh, well, I'm pretty sure you guys got one of these or laying around the house. You know what I mean? And not, and
Wada.
Yeah, maybe you guys do, but So new people probably not, but that would have been a way better choice.
Well, Red Knight says he's got 3 of them, so I think he should give one away in a giveaway or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, here's the thing for me: if it's an actual USB micro and it's not one of the ones that's proprietary to the 3DS, then that's something that fits most modern mobile devices. So your phone charger, your Kindle charger, your whatever charger, I've got 5 laying around the house. So if it's a USB micro, that's an entirely different story than 3DS proprietary charger.
Yep.
Yeah, it really would be. Everyone's got them laying around the house. Every time we buy anything, it's like, oh, here's another one of those.
Just make sure the battery. Sorry, I cut you off there. Sorry about that. Go ahead, finish.
I'm done. I finished.
Okay. I was gonna say as long as like there wasn't gonna be an issue with like the little AC, like the HTC little plug, like does that have enough power? Is there some kind of restriction
Yeah.
on charging a 3DS? Would there be possibilities people could short it out? You know, I don't know. So that might have been something to consider, but it would have softened the blow if they would have made it more of a standardized charging connection. I think so.
Yeah. They could have just aided and not dealt with people complaining about it.
And you know, I don't get mad about little things like that. I know a lot
I
of
don't
people
either. Yeah.
You know, $8.
Really is kind of just, I mean, wouldn't it have been so cool if, you know, instead of a special limited edition 3DS, we just had the faceplates and they could just be special edition faceplates and everybody doesn't have to buy a new 3DS all the time. That's what I really like about it, you know?
Maybe that's why they did it. Because
your faceplate gets all scratched up, no problem. Throw it on a new one. You know, now it's like, you're going to buy your Majora's Mask one, and I know you, Juice, will keep this thing in flawless condition. You'll never even let me touch it because I have grossy adult man hands.
And kids.
You know, I have children at home, so, you know, because I have children at home, anywhere else I go, I have children germs on my hands. Any of his stuff, really, he makes me wear gloves whenever I go to his house. It's ridiculous. You know, so you think about it, it's like you buy, maybe it's worth, you know, to Rel's point here, maybe it's worth buying the red one because you know what? I know having kids, my daughter's going to touch it. Your daughter's probably going to play with that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Before that Majora's Mask, you know, who's going to care that you have a Majora's Mask 3DS?
Nobody.
Stranger? Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it would be cool to hold up one time on the podcast. We can all give you the middle finger and be like, congratulations.
Yeah. I'm gonna do an unboxing.
You know, do an unboxing. You know,
Automatic dislike.
All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. All right, I'm gonna answer this question because I picked Bayonetta 2 as my game of the year. Tony Coran, he says, "Never have I seen Bayonetta," or I don't know why I threw this in. Let me reword it for him. Never have I seen a game win 5 awards in a clean sweep on NeoGAF's Game of the Year Awards 2014. So Bayonetta got High Quality Award, Passion Award, and Game of the Year. I don't know how, that's only 3. I don't know what the other 2 were. What do you think of the Umber Witch's clean sweep? And I think it was deserved. Like, I was just playing that game. I got Platinum on all the chapters now on 3rd Climax, and I got 55 hours in the game. I think it's amazing. It's just one of the best games I've played in a long time. I'm sucked in and I love it.
I bet you are.
And I'm sharing screenshots with Rel, like, here's what I did. It's your turn. You know, the last chapter I got like 7 pure platinums out of the 9 or 10 available. So anyway,
yeah, it's clear you're a monster, man. No.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, and I'm happy to hear that it did that. So, all right, and Bear Hugger, Andre, the Game of the Year winner is clearly Captain Toad. I mean, come on, peeps, think long and hard here for a minute. Bayonetta 2 is amazing, but the amount of details that went into Captain Toad, that takes the cake for me. 68 hours of pure love, respect, Bear Hugger.
Damn.
Any thoughts on that?
I think Bear Hugger went fanboy on us. But I can respect his fanboy because it's a quality game. So I mean, it's not like he's up in some trashy game that people play and is full of glitches, Assassin's Creed Unity. But
yeah.
As personally, I haven't had a chance to play Captain Toad. I want to play it. At first, I was sleeping on that game too, and then I saw it before it got released. I was like, I have to play this. So I'm just waiting by my time until I can get it. It looks good, so I'm assuming from what he's said about it, it's that amazing of a game.
Well, I did my review, and I'm not going to give away the score because not a lot of people saw it yet. So go watch my Captain Toad review I did the other day. I'm not quite there with Bear Hugger on the game, but it's still a good game. I'm going to ask you a real question this time because that one wasn't even a question. Where'd it go? Oh, crap. It scrolled down, so I got to find it again. Well, that one's not good for you. Dang it, I lost it. So are you an RPG guy, Andre?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I'm an all-around gamer, but
Okay,
yeah,
so this is a good.
RPGs are my favorites.
One
Or
of
among
my
my favorite.
regulars, Cable Tie 7, he has yet to get a 3DS. He's been thinking about it. What are the best 3DS games? Consider that he loves 3DS games. He's never played a Fire Emblem game, though. He loves RPGs and strategy games. So what are maybe some of the better 3DS games you'd recommend for him?
Well, obviously, if he loves RPG and strategy, then Fire Emblem is the way to go. I'd also recommend. I'm pretty sure Jamie could agree with me on this. Recommend Bravely Default until the end of the game, which gets frustrating from what I've heard.
Yeah, I recommended it to a point.
Yeah. I would also say Project Cross Zone, even though it's not like your standard RPG, because it's kind of like a mix of RPG and fighting. It's like the Marvel vs. Capcom of RPGs. But I would say that if you're like a Capcom and Sega fan, Capcom, Sega, and Namco fan, probably get that. Dang it, I'm trying to think of another one. I've
What
researched so many.
about Fantasy Life?
You know, Quan would have said that, and I was thinking about saying it. So yeah, it's Fantasy Life definitely, because that looks interesting. I haven't. That's another one I want to get, and Quan's been trying to sell me on it, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy it pretty soon so I can play it with him, because he's been like selling it on us at Gamers at Large like it's crack.
I would throw in there, just to mix it up a little bit, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon was an excellent game. Once you get past like the first hour or so, it took me a little bit to get into it, but
You mean the hand-holding section?
yes. Once you're just free to do what you want and go back and try to find everything, it's a really good game. So we'll do a couple more questions here. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I'm going to ask this
anything
to
Zelda. Anything Zelda.
Oh yeah, Link Between Worlds for sure. I mean, come on, that game's amazing. So, Rel, this is a perfect question for you. This is from Cable Tie as well, aka Grayson Young, who races in our Mario Kart 8 tournaments, and
Yeah,
he cheats, but
he's a beast. Yeah.
only 16, but he's beaten most of us many times. Apparently, he has a PS4 though. Do you think this is a question? Do you think I should sell my PS4 to cover the cost of a new 3DS XL? I have an Xbox One, and I'm not interested in The Order or Bloodborne.
You gotta ask me that.
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Hell yeah, trade that sucker in. Nah, honestly, dude. If you got an Xbox One, you got a PS4. You got a PS4, you got an Xbox One. So I mean, have their little different exclusives here and there, but it's not too much you're gonna be. I don't think it's too much you're gonna be missing on either console. So I say get the new 3DS.
Yeah.
I think the 3DS. I know Juice doesn't agree with this, but I think the 3DS is the best system right now.
That's fair. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, can I usurp your question just for a little bit?
Go ahead.
I just want to point something out that people probably haven't thought about. Have you noticed that PS4 exclusives, as far as console, end up on PC, and Xbox exclusives, as far as console, end up on PC? So if you're really considering keeping one or both of those, unless there are exclusives that are staying on those consoles that you really want, build a PC.
Yeah, he's a little young probably to get a good PC, so I would say hang on to one of them and then turn it in, get a 3DS, because, I mean, really, there are some really good games.
I mean,
games.
Only reason why I can see hanging on to is if you're really in love with Sony's first
Uncharted
franchise. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not. So.
I just want to say, spoiled little brat there, 16, he has a Wii U, Xbox One, PS4. I mean, come on. Yep. I was lucky to get my Super NES.
You probably won them all in Mario Kart racing tournaments.
Could be. And Tony Cran just added the Bayonetta 2 won Action Game of the Year and Wii U Game of the Year were the other two, so thanks for that. Let's see. This is a good question. I think we should all answer this question. And Jamie, I'm going to go with you first because you're playing the game right now. Do you guys think that Koei Tecmo have made a huge mistake by making Lana as Skull Kid cosplay in Hyrule Warriors upcoming DLC instead of having Skull Kid a playable character? Or that was Tony Karan that asked that, sorry. I thought it was Teresa, but do Do you think they made a mistake by having just be a costume for Lana instead of an own character?
Well, first of all, we don't know that it's going to be a costume for Lana. Could be a costume for Link. Could be a costume for Sheik. Any of the skinny characters that could be a costume for. Sure, it's possible for it to be for Lana, but I would doubt it. You know. And
I think they showed a picture. I don't know if that was official.
There wasn't a picture floating around.
There was like
a
shadow. I don't think
there was one. There was an actual color one. Let me bring it up.
No, there's a color one that actually fits the silhouette, and it is the silhouette
pretty
looks like it's
convincing.
Lana.
Yeah,
It could be somebody else, but it could be somebody else. But I'm almost convinced.
Let's go with it's Lana. How do you feel versus having Skull Kid be a separate character?
Well, for one, I love Lana, so I'm probably not the person to ask if you won't rage out of this. But
where's coupon stripes?
We'll all answer. We'll all answer.
But I love Lana, and as far as Skull Kid costume's concerned, I mean, her Deku staff would fit with the Skull Kid costume, maybe even the summoning circle. But I'm not attached to the Skull Kid character. I mean, I have not played Majora's Mask. I'm getting the Majora's Mask 3DS. I'm getting the 3DS game soon, but I have yet to play it yet, so I'm not the least bit involved.
Once you play that game, you will be attached.
I don't know. It wasn't my favorite, but all right. So let's go to Derek next. If Lana, you didn't play Hyrule Warriors, but just looking at the picture, how do you feel about just being a costume? I know some people are upset, but people are always upset about what they can't get. They're always finding something to bitch about. And this is the newest thing. Do you have an opinion on it?
Well, I will just summarize this as someone who has played the game. I know it takes a great amount of work to introduce a new character. Maybe they feel there's enough characters. Maybe they don't feel there's enough places to take a Skull Kid storyline-wise. Because really, Majora's Mask, it's not like there's. I mean, he's the Skull Kid. He gets a story. He gets some history. On the other side of that, it would be very cool to play as him because we've never seen that character expanded in such a way where he has all those moves and stuff. I mean, I would be very interested to see that, but I can understand why it might be difficult to go that route for them.
That's a good one.
There's a counterpoint to that. Tingle.
Damn, that's what I was gonna say too.
We don't know. To be fair, we don't know much about Tingle either, other than he's just some weird dude that has popped up in random Zelda games, and now he has a full unbridled moveset where he can, for some reason, blow big kisses and wipe out waves of people.
And bust cats in the head with bags of rupees.
I didn't rewatch.
Yeah, he can run around beating people with rupees.
That's what I'm saying. That is so tight.
Yeah, that the website I just showed had a couple pics. One of Sheik in some ridiculous athletic shorts and looks pretty silly. But there's also some really cool 8-bit. I don't know if that's a fairy. It looks like the fairy fountain.
Yeah, it looks like the fountain fairy.
That looks pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's Link's fairy weapon. I don't know how much you guys have played of it, but Link actually has a weapon where you basically plays the Great Fairy, and Link's in like a little bottle, so she throws him out and does like big sweeping moves. It's slow as hell, but really powerful.
Yeah. I'm gonna give my thoughts. I like Lana too. She's probably my favorite character. I liked her last new costume way better than the Skull Kid one, for reasons, and. I don't have no attachment to Skull Kid, so I could care less that he's not in there. I have more attachment to Tingle because he's in Wind Waker and Majora's Mask. He's got a little bit of a cult following, if you will, for being super creepy and stuff. So I'm fine with it.
Tingle also showed up on a couple of the handheld ones too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I wasn't expecting the backlash until later on after that direct where people complaining. So, who didn't go yet on this question?
I didn't.
Okay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm okay with it. Just like you guys, I ain't got no real strong connection to Skull Kid or anything like that, and Tingle makes up for that completely. So, I'm good with that.
Sweet. Magnum 924 just brings up an interesting point when we were talking about reviews. I forget who reviewed Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but the girl at IGN gave it a 7.8.
Too much water.
Due to having too much water. I've heard that many times, but I've never actually read the review. What does anyone know what she was talking about? Was that like a legitimate, realistic complaint?
I don't know, but I mean, if you're gonna make that complaint, then shouldn't she have a reveal Assassin's Creed Black Flag?
Yeah, I'd have to read that review to actually have a legitimate opinion, but he makes a good point. Give it Pokemon to someone who actually likes it.
Too many Pokemon.
I wouldn't even care if it was somebody who liked it, but it's got to be somebody who's going to really give the game a fair shake and not look at a dumb reason to discredit it.
Yeah.
But I still just think it's just better if you give the games to people that actually like those particular games, because those are the people that are going to go out and actually buy those kind of games.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Maybe more or less my stick would be to give it to people that like the genre itself rather than even worrying about specific games.
Right.
Because with specific games we might get fanboy reviews, and we don't really need those.
Yeah.
I think if I reviewed it, I would be a little harsher on it because I don't like the whole idea of it. So.
Too many damn Pokemon in there, right?
So Cable Tie, I might have to slap him. This is oops, I accidentally cleared it. But new gamers these days, he's never played Ocarina of Time, so his let me find it again. What can I expect from Ocarina of Time 3D? Never played it before. And by the way, do you want to play Smash or Mario Kart after this? Let me just talk about what can you expect from Ocarina of Time. I mean, an epic Zelda game with tons of awesome dungeons that just the most dungeons I think ever been in a Zelda game. All really well done. All really just that game was. I mean, now it might not seem as grand or as awesome to you because you played newer games, but at the time, just seeing that Hyrule Field for the first time, Death Mountain, playing it in 3D for the first time. What was that?
A day and night cycle?
Oh yeah, day and night cycle. You get an Epona, how you get Epona. It's one of my fondest memories in gaming as a kid. I was not a kid. I was 18 or 19, I think, when I played it.
I was a grown-ass man.
Yes. And it was just amazing, though. I don't know, going back and playing it for the first time after all these new games you've played, I don't know what you'll think of it. But if you've never played it, then definitely get that game. I just assumed you'd played it, forgot that you were younger, so... But
here's an interesting scene for you. Once you, spoiler alert, once you get your first 3 artifacts, I'm not going to tell you what they are, but walk around Castletown for a little bit. You might find a soldier that's interesting.
All right. And I haven't played that game since 2003, I think, so I don't even remember what that is. But, yeah, you need to play that game. I mean, I was just looking at top 100 games of all time on a bunch of different sites, and Ocarina of Time was number 1 on almost not everyone, but most of them. It was number 1, and there's a reason for it. A lot of it's nostalgia now, but anyway, I'm gonna read Teresa's comment to Derek, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Derek's inspiring speech shall be lost to the ages. Future scholars will pore over this podcast, spending their entire lives theorizing over his exact wording. That's good.
You can't recapture that shit,
A lip reader could figure it out.
And the scholars on the deathbed will just whisper, "Damn it, Jamie."
Now that we cleared a couple questions, there's only 2 more, so... I mentioned this quickly. Anybody have any thoughts on the Evolve DLC? If you watch Bear Hugger's little rant earlier, $15 for this creature that they've pretty much been promoting for over a year and a half for this game. They've known it's going to be in there. Now, if you don't pre-order, it's going to cost you $15 of DLC to get this specific creature.
Hold up. So I have to pay $3 more for that beast than I had to pay for half of a game?
Mm-hmm. That's if you don't pre-order. But and then there's a pack of 4 characters for $25 or something like that.
Wow.
There's not even a comparison.
Those are some expensive electronic toys.
Like, that's just ridiculous. I really Evolve, I think, is going to be the next Destiny overhyped game. Nothing about it looks interesting to me. I don't know if anybody wants to comment any further.
Well, my brother's been playing it. Well, he was playing it with the beta, and he was loving it. I was just looking at it like, okay, you know.
I like the concept, but that's about as far as I got with it. I like the concept.
Yeah.
When I saw like the stereotypical like cowboy hat muscle guy and all these like generic looking like characters from Team Fortress style like Borderlands, I was just like, okay, enough of that. Oh, it's a first person shooter. That was it. I was done.
Done.
And do we have another question? This is just kind of a thought. If Nintendo had released the new 3DS with the faceplates, could that have cut back on the backlash of the limited edition model selling out so fast? Yeah, that would have been a great alternative.
I think so.
It would have been like, well, I don't care. I'll just get that one and get the faceplates, and then that's all it would have been. It would have been a wrap.
And then you could have ordered faceplates from Japan and stuff because they would, there would be no region locking on the faceplates, and you could have got some awesome ones and had some bragging rights if you got, imported one. So that's pretty much it. Tony Cran has a question, but I guess I'll read it off. I didn't know this. Apparently, a Final Fantasy 15 developer was praising Monolith Soft's Xenoblade Chronicles X. Anybody hear that? And if you did, do you have any thoughts on it? I say, how could they not? I mean, nobody?
Final Fantasy developer for Final Fantasy 15. All right.
He should be praising it because
Just goes to show. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Derek.
I was just saying, being a developer for them doesn't carry as much credence as it used to, really.
Exactly.
For me,
Yeah.
That's a good point. Most of the people that were good at, they went to Monolith Soft and was it Intelligent Systems or somebody else? Forget. A lot of the Square Soft people left to start their own studios.
Yeah, they should be praising it considering they haven't put anything out of that quality in close to 15 years.
And I still watch videos of Final Fantasy VII. And I'm like,
so
what?
from Final Fantasy X, right, Jamie? Is that where you're going with that? X?
I would even peg it before X because I didn't really enjoy X that much either. A lot of people really didn't. I mean, it's kind of okay.
No one liked Tidus. No one liked the main character.
No one liked Tidus. No one.
It seems like 9 was pretty well received.
9 was great. 9 was a fantastic game, but I mean, when you look at what they did on the PlayStation 1 and the Super Nintendo, and then look what they've done since the last game they published on there. I mean, I think the last one they published on the PlayStation was it? I'm blanking on the name at the moment. It was the one where it was kind of dark and broody, and the human main character, and you would like actually target body parts of the monsters you were fighting. I can't remember the name of it, but I mean, when you look at like Xenogears and Valkyrie Profile and Final Fantasy games they put on the system, and Einhander, and so many fantastic games on PlayStation, and then you see what they've done since PlayStation 2, and some people are going to say, well, I love Kingdom Hearts. That's fine. It's not really for me, but a lot of people do love it. But as far as their quality is concerned, they haven't done much of anything for the last 15 years.
And I don't know what people saw in Final Fantasy VII because that game looks, especially now, it just looks really terrible.
Shut your mouth.
It just looks terrible.
Well, to be fair, all of the Final Fantasies on PlayStation look terrible now.
Yeah. It looked terrible when it came out. It looks even worse now.
I mean, though, aesthetically, I preferred Final Fantasy VIII in comparison.
Let me just ask. I mean, it looks like Super Mario RPG like quality visuals, and that was a Super NES
Square
game.
did work on that.
Which I did sell. I did sell my Super Mario RPG today in a pretty beat up box for $40.
He gave you 40 for that?
Yep.
Wow.
I know he's like, I might be able to get 50. I know he's probably was like, no, he's probably like, I'm gonna get 80 for this. But he's a local guy who does trade-ins and used games, and I wanted to give him some business and help. He wasn't gonna do 40, but I said, you know what? I was like, I know a friend. I'd rather sell it to him for 30. Even Ms. Batiste was interested in it, and I was just like, I could ship it to him free, and he's like, I'll give you 40. So that tells me he's probably gonna try to get 80 for it. And last thing, Cable Tie, I'm not going to play anything after this podcast. I got to get up to go to work in the morning, so I'm not going to be up. If I start playing Smash, I'll be up till midnight. So I just know not to start playing this late. So yeah, that's it for the questions, and appreciate all the comments and questions, everyone. And to my new guests, Andre and Jamie, thanks for joining the Juice is Loose. Why don't you go ahead, Jamie, and give us your sign-off and any final thoughts, anything you want to say before we go.
Well, guys, it was good times tonight. Good discussion. Everything was great. I don't really have any final thoughts for sign-off, but hey, thanks for having me. See you guys later.
All right. It's good to have you on the Juice is Loose, man. And Andre, what do you got?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun to be able to just kick back this way and answer the questions in the format that you had set up. I enjoyed it. So,
Awesome.
And anytime that you want to bring me on, hey, if I'm available, I'll jump in. I have no problem.
Sweet. I've been kind of trying to mix it up here so far this year. Is kind of my goal is each week to just get a different group together, because I think you get the same people together, then it feels the same. Like when we get new people in, it can go in different directions, and I've enjoyed everyone so far. And if you've been on the Juice is Loose before, you'll be on again. Everyone I've had on, I definitely want to have back. I'm just going to go through kind of a cycle here where I'm going to have it mixed guests each time. Try to get some new people on each time until I run out of new people to have. So we'll go to the veterans of the Juice is Loose next. Derek, any final thoughts or anything you want to say before we go?
As usual, it was great discussing things we all love and are passionate for together. I think we had some great discussions today, some great topics, a few good laughs. I really enjoyed meeting two people that I haven't spoken to before, Jamie and Andre. Excellent discussion, guys. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Awesome. And I do want to say I think we've played Jamie, and I think you played Jamie in Smash a few times on 3 days. And I played him not too long ago and beat him on New Year's Eve a few times and beat him up a little bit, but we want to talk about that if you don't want to.
Well, do you want to go one-on-one? Come on. That was 4-player. That's a different beast.
Hey, we did go one-on-one. You didn't know it, but they KO'd themselves because they were setting it up for one-on-one matches. But you almost had me. You KO'd with Little Mac. You suicided like in the beginning, and it was down to the wire. So you would have had it easily if you hadn't suicided with Little Mac. Yeah, but that's part of playing as Little Mac. He's easy to suicide.
Yeah.
So ASAP Rel, it was nice having you back on finally. So any final thoughts before we end this podcast?
Man, just the usual. Thanks for having me on. It was cool, with the fresh meat, injecting new life into the Juice is Loose. So it was cool, man. I appreciate you having me.
All right, it's always good to have you. I think you brought a little fire to this discussion. You had some passion, and it was good. So, and Derek as well. Too bad somebody's mic was cutting you off. Ruined your moment, but.
and everybody only gets one, and that was my.
Next, I'll try to remember next week. I've been trying to mute my mic as much as possible because my furnace has been running. I'm right next to the furnace in my basement. So, anyway, I want to thank the viewers. We had a good amount of viewers this whole time. Appreciate that. Everyone that asked questions and commented, appreciate that as always. I'm grateful. I know I don't say it all the time, but I wouldn't be doing this if, as long as 10 people watch it, I might still do it every week. But it's nice to know that people are enjoying these podcasts. We try to do something a little different. Try to have the camera on as much as possible. I think it adds to it. People seem to have more fun that way. And this is a good time. So with that, we're going to end the Juice is Loose, number 32, I believe it is. Possibly number 33. I didn't write it down, sorry. It's 32. I typed it out. It's right there at the bottom. So, anyway, that's it from here. I'm Terminator Juice. This has been a fun time, and we'll see you next week.